Hi and welcome back, or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Susan if you're new, and today is the second part in the series, the second book in the series. Today we're going to be reading The Chamber of Secrets. I say today, I mean in today's video. This is not going to be filmed like all in one day because I do not read all in one day. I have literally just like finished the first book and I'm just going straight into the second. I don't want to like break my flow and start reading something else in between. So here we are, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Once again, I've downloaded this book from the Amazon Prime library. If you have not yet watched the first part of the series, the video will be linked up here. If you have, or if you just don't want to watch that one, stay tuned and we will get into the book now. Chapter 1, The Worst Birthday. Not for the first time, an argument had broken out before. Oh my god, I literally, every time I try and read aloud, I just can't do it. The thing about reading Harry Potter and reading a series just generally is like, the book sometimes assumes that you haven't read the others, which is just probably untrue. Like, I don't know anyone who will just read the second Harry Potter book and not read the first one, but it will always have like the very first chapter or first few chapters will just keep repeating things that happened before, or like facts that you already know, but if you don't, you need to know them.
Harry Potter was a wizard.
Oh, obviously I forgot to say there's going to be spoilers in this. If you've not read or watched Harry Potter at this point in your life, I don't know, sorry, but you probably already know what happens. I don't think you can just be living your life and not know what happens in Harry Potter. Even if you've not read it or watched it, I feel like you just would know the plot. Or like most of what happens anyway. The fact that Harry is a wizard is not a spoiler anyway, but just saying. Something that I think about quite often is the fact that the whole pun about Diagon Alley being diagonally is that just does not work in any other language other than English. I assume like Diagon Alley and diagonally, unless they change like the name of the alley in other languages. I just don't understand how that is like a joke universally. I guess it's just not. Ginny, who is, not gonna lie, my least favorite character in the whole books, like the film, everything just annoys me so much. Like hiding from Harry because she's like, I guess she has a crush on him or something, and she's getting all embarrassed, putting her elbow in butter and stuff. She's just annoying. We've met Dobby the house elf. All going well so far. I read in the bath and now I'm just getting ready for bed to read a little bit more before heading off to work tomorrow morning. So I feel like I have actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about because even though I'm like 25/30% through the book, so like not even halfway yet, so much stuff has happened. I swear, like so much has happened in this like very beginning of the book. So I'm just gonna do like a brief like update so we're all on the same page in case you like can't remember what happens in this book, so it's helpful for everyone. Harry obviously went home for summer. He didn't tell the Dursleys that he couldn't use magic, and they were kind of like scared of him and he wasn't allowed to do certain things. Like he was always like winding Dudley up and he was like, oh, say the magic word, meaning like say please, and they all like kicked off and like told him off, stuff like that, like just really like small things. Then we're introduced to the beloved character Dobby, who is not beloved until like later on. So he like appeared and was like making loads of noise, and Harry's like, I'll be upstairs in my room pretending I don't exist. And then Dobby's like banging his head on like the lamp and he's like, oh my god, I'm really bad, like I shouldn't even be here. And then he drops the cake on like the Dursleys person they're trying to impress. Vernon is trying to get a job from this guy, or like he's trying to get work from him because apparently he sells drills, which is actually mentioned in the first book, but I feel like in the films there's no mention of what his job is. But yeah, he like sells drills, so he's trying to like sell drills to this guy. Then it looks as though Harry's like magically floated the cake and dropped it onto her head, which is like obviously bad. And then they get like an owl telling him off for using magic in front of muggles and stuff, and the Dursleys are like, oh, you didn't tell us he couldn't use magic, eh? So they kind of like trap him in his room and then he gets rescued by Ron and Fred and George with their flying car. The car is really interesting because like the dad, what's his name? Mr. Weasley. Yeah, Ron's dad has like obviously magic the car so like it can fly, but also he's like extended the inside so like they can all sit. It's like a family of 7 or 8 and they can all like fit in this car, and it's like a tiny like Ford car, and he like extended the boot as well. And like because they don't have cars, like wizards don't have cars, the mum Molly, she literally is just like,
wow, I gotta give it to the muggles, like their cars are really spacious.
they're not, is this magic. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself there in the story. Basically Harry goes to the burrow. They like denome the house by like spinning them around and throwing them. And like I don't know if any of you have played the Harry Potter, like Lego Harry Potter game, but there's like a part in the game where you like you have to denome the garden, and you have to like spin the like little gnomes around and throw them away, because obviously they keep coming back if they're not dizzy. And I think that's in the game. I don't know if I've made that up because I haven't played the game in so long, but yeah, I think that's in the game. My sister would know because we used to play it together. Go to Diagon Alley, which I know I mentioned about diagonally. That is how he got stuck. It's really hard to say. And the dad is actually the one who fixes his glasses, not Hermione, because they can't do magic when they're not at school, which never made sense to me, because I thought maybe it's because they were like in the magic world they were allowed to, but they're not. So Ron's dad fixes his glasses, and then they go to the bookshop and they meet Lockhart, who I actually completely forgot was in this book, and he's such a big part of the book because he's like, he's gross really, let's be honest. That kind of celebrity, and he keeps pulling Harry aside and being like, oh,
one day you'll be as famous as I am. A few people have heard your name before.
Mate, Harry Potter is literally like more famous than you. I feel like he's like kind of threatened by the fact that like Harry is like 12 and like more famous than him, and everyone's like in love with him, like all the girls, everyone is like really impressed. They're like, wow, he did all this stuff, he's like amazing. He's just, ew, no, we don't like him. And then the barrier to the platform 9 3/4 gets stuck. They get their car and then they fly to Hogwarts, but they're seen by like however many muggles. Everyone's like,
yeah, like that was so impressive.
They miss like the sorting of the hat and stuff. Now they're doing lessons, and where I'm at right now is like they're planting mandrakes, which are like the little plants that scream. It's really interesting because obviously in the films they make it as if like the only 2 houses that really matter are like Slytherin and Gryffindor, but they're actually doing the class with like the Hufflepuffs, so it's like they have characters who are just like completely not in the films because they're like, nah, we'll just throw them in with like Draco. So yeah, I feel like I've been rambling, but that's what I mean. Like a lot has happened so far and they haven't even like done anything yet. Like the book is the Chamber of Secrets. There's no hint or like anything of the Chamber of Secrets yet. A lot of exciting stuff to come. Just wanted to update before ramble over. Catch up with you later. I'm at that point of reading where like all I think about when I'm not reading is like reading and the story that I'm reading at the moment, which is like kind of the best thing, but also like it's annoying because I always want to be reading when I'm not. A lot has happened. I'm 60% through. It's actually crazy that Hermione, I didn't realize like she likes Lockhart so much, like because he thinks that she's the best student in the year, but also because he's like famous and like obviously he's like good looking and stuff. She ended up in the hostel wing because she did the Polyjuice potion, which like turned her into half cat, half human. Like you're not supposed to use animal hairs for it. And she got like a signed note from him like, oh, hope you get well soon. And she like kept it under her pillow. And when she had a slip for like the restricted section from him, she wanted to keep it like because he signed it. And I'm like, what? Why is she so obsessed with him? Like, because he's so bad. I understand like other people would be obsessed with him, like Ron's mom and stuff, because it's like, oh, he's so handsome and he's done all these things, blah blah blah. But like she's literally seen him not know how to do things. Like he's obviously lying about stuff. Like he dissolved all of the bones in Harry's arm and Hermione's still like
You know what I mean? For what reason? Like, come on girl, you're smart, you're meant to be smart. You're there and you're like Lockhart's biggest fan. Also, the evidence of the book, it really does look like Harry is the one who's released the Chamber of Secrets and stuff, because like they basically, there was like a section where Harry went to the library to find someone and he found like some Hufflepuffs gossiping, and they were saying how it has to be Harry kind of thing, because all of the evidence makes it seem like it's Harry, and it's true. It's just like Filch told him off, and then Filch's cat got like petrified, and then Colin Creevy, because he was like always taking pictures of him and being annoying, and then like the Justin Finchley or whatever, like he set the snake on him, but really he was trying to stop the snake from attacking him. But nobody else speaks Parseltongue. No one knows what Harry was saying to the snake, and nobody knew that he could speak Parseltongue, because fair enough though, to be honest, like Harry didn't know that being able to speak to snakes was weird. Like, he's a wizard, and like everyone's kind of weird, like all the wizards are kind of weird compared to like muggles, because they can do magic and stuff. So he probably thought like a lot of people can talk to animals. Also yeah, so I read my favorite line in the book, which basically, let me set the scene. Harry once again has been found at the scene of a crime of someone who has been petrified. I think it's when he found like Headless Nick and Justin Finchley's Crawley, whatever his name is, I don't know what his name is. He gets taken up to Dumbledore's office for the first time, and he's like trying on the sorting hat, and he's like, oh my god, my life's so hard, like the hat thinks I should have been in Slytherin, whatever. And then turns around and he's like, what the heck is this bird? And so it looks like it's dying. And then it says, Harry was just thinking that all he needed was for Dumbledore's pet bird to die whilst he was alone in the office with it, when the bird burst into flames. It's just so funny. Like, just imagine. I feel like that happens to me a lot. I'm like, I think, oh, it'd be so annoying if this thing happened, and then it's gonna happen. Or like when you try and move like a cup of water's on the edge of a table, and you're like, oh, better move that, otherwise someone's gonna knock it off. And then whilst you try and move it, like you knock it off the table. It's just like, the last thing I need right now is for this bird to die whilst I'm alone, and it just like flames. Harry's Christmas present from the Dursleys, which was a toothpick, but also came with a note saying like, can you ask if you can stay there over the summer holidays as well as the Christmas holidays? And I was thinking that like, he has to go home to the Dursleys every summer. For why? Go to the Weasleys all summer, or like stay with Hagrid or something. I don't understand why he has to go home to them every year. They're literally like abusive. I don't understand why they like keep sending him back. I understand like before he was like at school and stuff, he needed to be protected, but everyone knows kind of like where he is now. So hope you're enjoying the vlog so far. If you are, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch up with you soon. Literally, it's like Halloween and Hermione sent Lockhart a Valentine's Day card. Like, I don't remember her being so obsessed with him like at all. I swear in the film she's not that into him. Harry's just figured out how to use Tom Riddle's diary, and he's like seen the memory, and they now think that Hagrid actually opened the Chamber of Secrets, which is kind of crazy. Like, surely I feel like they know, but like surely it wasn't Hagrid, because why would he still be at the school if that's what he did? Like, if he like literally killed someone, like, and they haven't figured out yet that they killed Mono Myrtle, but soon come. Come to a park in my house, and I got a pumpkin spice latte. Actually, I got a frappuccino, which I've never had a frappuccino before, and we got vegan whipped cream and soya milk. Very excited. First pumpkin spice latte of the season. It's, like I said earlier, we are literally in a heat wave right now, but it's still festive, and I feel like it's very apt. It's very loud out here. I feel like it's very apt because pumpkin spice, pumpkin juice, you know? So good. spicy. So I bought my Kindle and I'm literally just gonna read in the park. And I really should have bought a pumpkin, no, not pumpkin. I really should have bought pumpkin. I really should have bought my picnic blanket, but I didn't, so I'm sat on a bench. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to do a little unboxing together because I just got this parcel. It's not very easy doing this one-handed. So I've got a pumpkin pie flavoured soy candle from Vegan Bunny. Smells so good. And yeah, I've bought a candle from here before. I think I've actually bought 2 candles from here before. And they smell so good, and they are 100% vegan. They have all of like the recycling packaging, so still going for like the full vibes even though we are literally in the heat wave. I have 2 chapters left of the book, so tomorrow is the day that I will do the final update. I'm just gonna head to bed now and finish the book. Last night I finished Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It was really hard for me not to go straight into the next book, but for the purpose of the video I did not, because I didn't want to start getting confused with like what happens in which book, because I am very much someone who, as soon as I start reading something else, I forget what I just read. So I am just gonna go through like my highlights again so that I remember to talk about everything I want to talk about. But first things first, which I need to just ask a question. How did Fawkes get into the Chamber of Secrets? Like, there's only one entrance, I assume. So they like fell down a tube to get into the Chamber of Secrets. Like the entrance is like in the bathroom with the tap. And then there was like a avalanche type thing. It's like all the rocks fell down. Like Ron got stranded on one side and Harry was on the other, and Harry like went and like opened the chamber and everything. And then like Fawkes shows up, and then Fawkes like, they dig a hole and then they climb through, but then Fawkes like flies them. Obviously it's magic, so like they all like link hands, and then he flies up with Ginny, Ron, Harry and Lockhart like all trailing behind him while he flies. And it's like, okay, so they had to fly out of this like tube thing that they went down. So how did Fawkes get there in the first place? Because even if Fawkes went down to get it, there would have been all of the bricks and stuff. And Ron would have seen the bird, but he was also like,
Where did you get this bird from?
if someone can explain that to me, that'd be great. Like, can he just operate? I don't know. Oh yeah, so I wanted to say about how one of my favorite things, like just generally in any kind of book, is when everything like fits together, like it's a puzzle and then everything fits. This is really why I like reading like murder mystery and like that kind of books. As I love reading fantasy, but I also love like detective kind of like whodunit things, because I just love when all the pieces like fit together, and then like the main character, or like you as the reader, like figure it all out and you're like, oh yes, that makes sense because this. And they just had like such a moment of that when they went to visit Hermione in hospital, which they didn't even want to do. They were trying to like sneak away to the toilets and they got caught. And then they were like, oh, we're just going to go see Hermione. And McGonagall was like crying and like, yeah, okay, you can go see your friend. Like, it must be hard for you because your friend's like, what's the word? Your friend's like petrified, so you can go and see her.
and they found like the note in her hand, and she'd like figured everything out, but she didn't get to tell them because obviously she like got frozen. And they figured everything out from like the note, like spiders flee before the basilisk if it is their mortal enemy, and the basilisk flees only from the crowing of a rooster, which is fatal to it. And like all of Hagrid's roosters got killed like earlier on in the book, and they were like, but how is it traveling around? And then she'd written at the bottom of the note like pipes, and they were like, yes, this makes so much sense, because Harry can hear the talking of like the parcel tongue basilisk snake language in the walls of the building, so it's traveling through the pipe. Like all came together, and they were like, yes, we know what to do, we know like how to, like we know what the monster is, kind of thing. And like it also says that like its stare is like a beam which kills people, and they're like figuring out that everyone who looked at it didn't look directly at it because they didn't die, they just got petrified. So it was like the reflection of water and like mirror and like through the ghost, but the ghost was already dead, so like the ghost couldn't die again, kind of thing. Yeah, literally just love stuff like that. So after all of that happens and they go down to the chamber, Harry defeats the basilisk and also destroys Tom Riddle and the diary. It says for nearly a quarter of an hour he spoke into a rapt silence. He told them about hearing the disembodied voice, how Hermione finally realised that it was in the pipes, like it's like everything. And it's like a quarter of an hour. 15 minutes is not very long to explain like everything that has had like led up to the point. If I was telling that story 15 minutes, like a quarter of an hour, that's really not very long. And like, yeah, I guess because no one was asking any questions, but still at least half an hour, I reckon that would be a story. It'd be quite a long story. And then my final note on here, so Harry's plan to like free Dobby, which does work, like Dobby's a free elf, but Harry took off one of his shoes, pulled off his slimy filthy sock and stuffed it into the diary. Like, why is your sock filthy and slimy? I guess it's from like the snake, but like, no, snakes aren't even slimy, are they? They're not actually slimy. That's just like a rumor. I don't know, I've never touched a snake, but I'm pretty sure they're not actually slimy. So why is the sock filthy and slimy? Ew. Also in the film, when this happens, like it's right at the end, Lucius Malfoy is like, you've lost me, my house elf. And then he goes to like fully death curse of Avada Kedavra. I'm gonna kill you. And it's like, sorry, your house elf. He was fully ready to kill Harry over this in the film anyway. And yeah, that's it really. I really enjoyed this book. I think, do I prefer it to the first one? What even happens in the first one? I think I do prefer this one to the first one just because the characters are like slightly more in depth and there's like the added humor of like Lockhart. But I'm very excited to start the next book and see what Harry and his pals are getting up to in the next book. I mean, I've read it before, so I know what's gonna happen, but it's really fun like rereading them. I really recommend it. Like if you've watched this and you haven't read the books in a while, 100% recommend reading them. I'm trying to do this like as a weekly video, so like this could even work as like a book club vibe, like where you read the book and then you can watch my video after and leave a comment and we can talk about it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and hopefully I will see you soon for another video. Bye.